Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. You can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Brr. Drinking on a little bit of water here because hydration is important. And most important of all, I have my cup mug here. And you can get your cup mug at lanateascreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Get your cup mug, period. And I'm here all by myself, but that's okay because today has been a busy, busy day. As you can see, we're we're running a little bit behind, a lot behind on our scheduled podcast time because today is Big Brother reveal cast reveal day here at the and everywhere. And we of course had to get that out there. So we did that first. I went to that live and then jump into this live. It's a lot. But it's okay because we're still gonna give you Love Island always and forever until this week is out. And we're coming to an end, so therefore we had to give you the content. But we are talking Love Island episode 31. And yes, I'm still rise. I'm still in the high. We are still up. We have been up. We're going to stay up. Um, and we're going to talk all about it. But before we jump into anything about the show, please follow us here on this channel. If you're new here, you haven't followed us before, please do so because we are on a mission to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year so we can unlock a lot of fun things to do here on this channel once we get to that point. So please help us out. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. We really, truly, truly appreciate you. Um, and help us get to that point. Help us reach our mission. Um, and also subscribe to all of our channels. We have three other channels that you can subscribe to if you're a fan of drag or drag race, if you're a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, and if you're a fan of WWE wrestling, we have channels for you. We got a lot going on all the channels this week. Content after content after content is coming your way. It doesn't matter what channel you go to, there will be content, well, on most of them. It's not Eurovision Song Contest season, so maybe not as many on that channel, but when that season happens, oh my gosh, content after content after content. But yeah, we got stuff coming out every day on all the channels at some point this week. So check it out. Subscribe to all the channels. We appreciate that. And also join our Patreon and follow us on our audio podcast links. Our Patreon so you can get some early access and exclusive content to things that we won't put on the channel, but things behind the scenes and some things like that. So check out that early access, some things that's going to come out later, but you can get the first look at it. And join our audio podcast links. You can check us out on the go, so check us out and do those things. We appreciate you. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And yeah, do those things. And you can follow me if you want. I mean, I'm pretty chill. I'm nice. Not super boring. Yeah, I'm kind of boring on socials, but not really. I do post stuff. So check it out. Do all the things, do all the follows. Let's get into episode 31 because this, of course, was probably a filler episode for a lot, but some fun things happened. We Let me bring you up to speed on the couples where we left off. Our couples from when we left off was Shelly and Ace, Clark and Taylor, Huda and Chris, Pepe and Iris, Alendria and Nick, and Amaya and Brian. So those are the couples we had when we left off. But um we didn't have we had some conversations after we said goodbye to Zach and Alon. Um, we saw Iris and Pepe talking, they're normal, how you feel. I feel good, this is great. We get to couple up, we get to share a bit, that kind of conversation. They're just feeling the vibes, really. They're just having a good time together. They're fine, they're cute. Um, They're go on, give us nothing, but give us something. It's I don't know. I kinda like them. I like them together. I think they're fine. I really feel like the discourse online about how people are giving a lot of the Nick and Landria storyline, a lot of false or hate or, whatever, is kinda blowing me that they don't have the same smoke for Pepe and Iris because, Pepe and Iris was both just in a well, he was with Hannah, got with Grayson, didn't mesh with Grayson, she left, then immediately turned his attention to Iris, and Iris just lost TJ the night before, and then automatically, like, kissing up on Pepper, and I have no problem with it. I'm like, "This is Love Island, that's what you do, that's what it's for," and I'm here for it, but then what is the smoke for Nick and Alandria? Be like, "Well, Nick was closed off, they were serious." I mean, the other dude, Iris was boo-hooing over TJ, and Hannah and Pepe literally shut everybody down because Hannah left, so it's like, I don't know. I don't get it, but I'm like, this is what you're supposed to do on Love Island. You're supposed to, if the connections work, they work. If they don't, you move on and, try to find other connections. And things happen that didn't, you know, things happen that you couldn't, some situations happen and just they happen to be two single people and they got together. So, I don't know. But they talked, who else conversation did we see that night? Hmm, nobody I can remember, which means I wasn't that interested. But I'm just gonna go. We just went get ready for bed because I don't think a lot of conversations happened that night after everybody was gone. Um, yeah. So everybody get ready for bed. Everybody goes to bed. And it's a lot of smooching and cuddling going on in the villa that night. We saw um excuse me, y'all. We saw Amaya and Brian just kissing each other's face off like they've been doing. Love it. We saw oh shenanigans that happened beforehand. People were passing condoms around and put them in people's beds, and it ended up in Huda and Chris's bed. And Huda was like, "Who put this here? Who put this here? We don't need this. Y'all some freaks. That is crazy. We're not doing that. That's not." And then we see the lights go out, and Huda and Chris are under the covers doing a lot of moving. So we found out that they did have sex. So she kind of needed that. She should have just put it on the nightstand next to her instead of across the room. But whatever. um, we saw some moving and kissing between Pepe and Iris, and they was doing their thing. And then we saw some extremely close cuddling and moving between Nick and Alandria, and everybody was like, "Ooh, wait, okay, all right." And me personally, I'm like, period. When somebody feels comfortable with someone, they feel comfortable doing things like that. And I think that the relationship that Olivia and Nick has, their friendship, she's comfortable with him and she felt comfortable enough to cuddle with him. And that was cool. So the islanders are woken up. They're woken up in the middle of, well, at the break of dawn, early in the morning, right before the curtains come up, to sounds of babies crying. And everybody wakes up to see they have babies now. um, the baby challenge is back. Baby fever is here, and everybody has babies, and that they all have to take care of for the day. And I will just say, this was just a fun thing to watch. It was fun to see the different how people took this challenge, if they was going to take it seriously, if they were going to, not. And it was just fun. It was a fun thing to watch. I enjoyed seeing how serious some of the guys took it and, how the girls took it. Like, I think the guys took it a lot more serious than the girls, though, which is funny to me. Well, some of them anyway. Um, it was just fun to see how tapped in people were like, "Yeah, I'm a dad or I'm a mom, and we gonna do this." And it was interesting. It was fun to see. But let's take a quick look at all the babies and their parents. We got baby Elijah, which is Amaya and Brian's baby. They were very cute. I thought they were cute. They had they had their moment where Amaya and Brian both left the baby just sitting on the day bed, and they walked away. They're like, "You forgot the baby." My keeper like, "Don't call CPS on us." Oh my god, it was funny. They left the baby sitting out in the heat at one point, and they were like, "You left the baby out in the sun," and Brian was like, "It's a Latino baby. It's okay. We like the sun. It's okay. It's good. We like the sun." It was cute. It was funny. I thought they were cute. Um, Amaya's funny line, the baby was crying. She was like, "It's okay, baby. Mama, I cry too. I cry all the time. I'm a cry baby too." So that was funny. Then we had baby Lois and Peter, which is Pepe and um, Iris's baby, named after Family Guy. Lois and Peter, cute. Um, they were so like in it, but not in it. They did their best. They left the baby on the counter while they cooked in the kitchen, just left the 2 babies laying on the counter. Like, who leaves your baby on the countertop? Like, no. But, they didn't take it as super seriously, but they took it somewhat seriously. So it was fun to see them do their thing. Yeah. Baby Layla, which was Huda and Chris's baby. Now, Huda took this very seriously because she is a mom. I don't know if y'all knew that. I don't know if you knew this about Huda, but she is a mom. And she had triggered her because she was remembering when her baby was colicky and crying all the time, and she was a mom and she did all this stuff. So she was a mom. And so she took it serious. Chris took it somewhat serious throughout the process. I don't think he was doing anything too bad, but he wasn't just fully locked in like some of the other guys were. But yeah, baby Layla, they were cute. Um, then we had baby Aaliyah, Taylor, and Clark. Taylor was locked in. Taylor was locked in. He was very much the nurturer, like he took care of the baby, he cared the baby, he held the baby, he moved with the baby. He was very, very much the nurturer. Clark, not so much. I mean, she kind of just like, I don't think she took it as serious as he did, but she was just like, "I'm here to support whatever you want to do. Sure." It's a baby. But Taylor was locked in. He had the harness. He carried the baby. He was feeding the baby. He was changing the baby. He was very much locked in with this. This was the side I was like, okay, this is the side of Taylor I thought was nice. Still not a fan of Taylor. Still not into Taylor. Still not trying to, I still want Taylor on my villa. But this was a nice side of Taylor. But yeah, they did well. They ended up winning the whole challenge. Yeah, because Taylor, like I said, he was locked in. He was really much locked in. Clark was just there. She was just there. Um, we got baby Apollo and Chase, which is Shelly and Ace's baby. Ace wanted a baby name. He wanted to name the baby Apollo so he can have an A to put across his tat on his back. And Chase was a mix between Chase, Shelly, and Ace. Um, they were the ones that had a lot of communication issues, but you could tell like it was a communication that they both really liked to be right, but they were still doing like Ace was locked in too. Like I didn't think they would lose the challenge. They ended up being one of the two that failed. It was Amaya and Brian and Shelly and Ace who failed the challenge. Um, Nick and Alandria, um, Pepe and Iris, and Hood and Chris they passed, and then Taylor won. Taylor and Clark won. Um, I didn't think Ace lost this challenge because Ace was very much in it, but I think the babies cried a lot, and sometimes they just miss stuff. And when you read in the machines or whatever, I thought they did well though. I thought Ace and Shelley did really well. They need to communicate better within themselves, but I liked watching them be parents. I enjoyed watching the whole scenes unfold between all of them when they were doing things to be the parent. Like, yeah, one of my favorite moments about this whole challenge was seeing Alandria going over to Ace, trying to get the do-rag, the bonnet from the baby. He was like, "Get your own uh you gonna take a bonnet off a sleeping baby?" And she was like, "Just give me the bonnet." And she was like, "Give her the bonnet." He was like, "No, I'm not gonna give her the bonnet. She can go get your own bonnet. Go to She was like, "Okay, fine. Well, then give me the do-rag off your head and I can go put it on my baby. I just gotta put it on my baby." And he was like, "Go to the store like everybody else and get the do-rag." Like, we on national television fighting about do-rags and bonnets. Black people, you know, we up. I love it. It was such a moment. It gave me the moment of last season when we saw Serena do it, Cordell's hair. Such a black moment. It was such a black moment. This was such a black moment. They said they're fighting over do-rags and bonnets and love it. Love it, love it. This was just a fun challenge. I enjoyed watching it. This was a fun episode. It was just a fun episode. And then, of course, we had baby Marcel, who was formerly known as baby Hilton when they thought it was a girl. But then they changed the diaper and was like, oh, wait, this is a boy. Still with baby Marcel. Marcel being Nicholas's middle name. So, baby Marcel, it was just cute. They were cute. Another moment was they did baby yoga. Chris led baby yoga. And they were just Ace and Shelly stayed on Alicia and Nick's neck this whole time about baby Marcel. They was just like, they did and when they went baby yoga, Chris asked if they everything they wanted to get off their chest because you want to go into yoga clean and lighthearted and open and ready. And so Ace was like, baby Marcel's bad. He ain't got no home training. They was just like, hold up, hold on, not too much on baby Marcel. Like, not that. We're not gonna do that. Um, Shelly had said baby Marcel ain't got his bad, he ain't got no home training. She was like, and Lynch was like, baby Marcel went to private school. He good. We're fine. We're good over here. Um Ace had mentioned, I don't even know if baby Marcel is even Nick's. And Lynch was like, what you mean that baby look just like him? Nick is like, "This baby look just like me. This is my baby." Like, when I tell you they had such a fun time just playing around with these babies. The boys had a baby like obstacle course with the strollers and changing them and doing it was just a fun episode. The girls had brunch. They were, watching the boys be silly. It was just a fun episode between them and everybody. I enjoyed this episode. We had really nice like conversations that happened. We saw um Brian and Amaya talking more about being parents and having kids. This conversation, this brought up how many kids everybody really wanted and whatever. And they talked about what they wanted and brought Amaya, she's just got flying high. As she says, she's flying high like a pigeon in New York, but not the dirty ones, the clean ones and pretty ones. So I'm like, I've never seen a clean, pretty pigeon, but apparently Amaya has, and that's who she is. Love her. We did see a little kerfuffle between Huda and Chris during the first doing the baby yoga when Chris bypassed her when he didn't ask her what she thought about, the baby getting all that energy out or whatever. Chris just bypassed it. And then when they were doing the baby Olympics or obstacle course, Chris was yanking the clothes off and putting the clothes back on the baby because you had to change the outfit. And um She's like, "I don't like that color." Like, she was like, "Stop doing that." Like, she was very protective over this baby, and Chris probably looked at it like it was a doll, like, "Stop playing, what don't worry about it." And he was like, "Shut up." And she was like, "Excuse me? Who you talking to?" Like, and I was like, "Yes, girl, don't let him take you, shut up." Don't worry." But she always knows how to suck the life out of the fun of the room because of her I don't know what it is. She just it's something she just like, "Girl, calm down. Stop being so ooh." But he just he was annoyed with her. "She's so bossy," is what he said. And she was just like, for me, sucking the energy out of the room. Like there was people were having fun and she was just like making sure nobody had fun. And it was just like, oh, girl. But then they had a conversation later, and this is where it got used to me because he was saying in confessionals how bossy she is and how, that's annoying and all of that stuff. And then when she he asked her if she's doing anything if he's doing anything to make her upset, and she aired out her grievances about him not paying attention to her and forgetting her out of the yoga thing when she had her hands full. He didn't even offer to pick up her mat. She had to tell him to. She was just like, it's just little things I want you to just think about just doing without me having to ask you to do it, which I find fair. No problem with that. Like, definitely do that. But this is why I was upset with Chris because she asked you, "How is there anything about me that I should work on or whatever?" And he asked for a kiss. And I'm like, "What do you just told us that you had the problem when she was doing why didn't you just tell her that?" Like, I felt like you took it a little too seriously, and I understand that you were triggered, but it just felt like you were just nagging me for no reason. Like, why didn't you say any of that? And I was listening to a couple of people online afterwards, and I was like, I have to agree. He's enabling her. And then he's going to just resent if they get together. Let's say they do get together, they say he's going to resent that that's who she is because you allowed her to be that way. And you continue to let it go on and not like say, hey, this bothers me, so she can have a time to change it. It's just it was just interesting to see that dynamic between the two of them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like he should have said something in that moment. If that was how he felt, then he should have said something. But he didn't. He chose not to say anything. And I'm just like, okay, well, all right. Um, so after that, after we do all of that, the let's see who other conversations we had. We had Ace and Shelly have a conversation. They're trying to like decide who gave each other props or not for taking care of the baby, taking kids. It was fine. They were being jokey, but like in that way of you didn't tell me thank you. Well, you didn't tell me thank you. You ain't say good job. Well, you didn't say good job. It was just, one of those things. But I don't know. We did see I don't know. Let's see who else. Oh, we had a conversation between Nick and Alandria where he was like, so they were talking about the baby. And he was like, he was like, "Oh, baby Marcel, do you like the name?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's a part of you." I fear, I feel like trying to show Nick that she feels comfortable enough with him, safely with him, because she's doing things like being more softer and nice. She felt like he was doing everything that he needed to do for the baby challenge without asking her, um, without asking, not this, not you coming in. They always, ugh, I know you're jaded. I can't, but you're not wrong. They are doing a lot, but in a jokingly manner, which I'm like, okay, I understand. They do need some communication. Ace is trying to be the he was trying to be like the fun parent, but he was also very much the strict parent. And Shelly was like not taking this as seriously as I think he wanted her to. And I get that because they're like, baby, they're dolls. They're dolls. But, uh, the combos and everything. Yeah. Wow. That's interesting, but I like it. Yeah, I did too. I did too. I low key liked Ace in this episode. I thought he was very much going for it and being there for the babies, like he should have, and being there for his friends, like his conversation that he had with Nick, where they were at the weight bench, and Nick was expressing how him and Alandria was cuddling that night, and he was like, I felt these fiery feelings in my chest, and he was just like, it was just something, and I didn't expect that. And he was like, and if she didn't move, because she was backing it up into me, and I was like, if she don't move, I'm gonna lose him, go crazy. And, and Ace was like, oh. Then he started. He's like, hold on, my daughter don't need to hear this. He got up and moved the baby girl away. I was like, but my son can hear this. I was like, okay, Ace. Ace. Okay, stop. But I thought that was funny. But the fact is that he was there for Nick because Nick is like going through all these different emotions that he's trying to figure out in his head, um, how to continue to navigate. And he was like, I don't know. I never felt like this with her before, but now it's starting to. I was like, mhm, mhm. And I think she's the same way because we had that conversation between Alandria and Huda early in the night before, where he was just like, Huda asked, "Is Ace is not Ace is Nick your type? Like, is are you attracted to him?" And Alandria's like, "Yeah, like." Yeah, I'm attracted to him. I've been attracted to him like since day one. I kissed him day one, so yeah. She's like, "I'm attracted to him." Is that, and I love hearing that because a lot of people were saying that they don't think that Alandria is actually really attracted to him. Maybe he's more attracted to her than she is to him. But no, we are starting to see in this episode that Alandria is coming out of her shell a lot more. She is saying it out loud to people. She just now needs to say it to Nick. I think I I feel like she needs to say what she's saying to Huda and to the confessional. She needs to say this to Nick so he feels reassured because I think he's still under the impression that, we're still taking it slow, we're still trying to figure it out. I think she was trying to give him a hint when she was throwing it back at him during that night, but we shall see. Um, it was nice. It was just a nice, fun day. It was a really fun episode. Um, we see Nick and Ace talking again that night after everybody gets ready for the night. Well, not that we won't go there yet. Everybody gets ready for the night. We see Clark and Taylor talking. We see Pepe and Iris talking. Honestly, I didn't pay much attention to all those conversations. Um, Nick and Alandria go off and they start talking. And this was not about feelings. This conversation was like, how you feel? What are you thinking? Where your head is at? This was just a conversation, a normal conversation about everyday things. He they talked about college football. And Alandria, my girl, I knew I liked you, but now I know why I liked you. Because you're an Auburn fan just like me in this state of Alabama where we are. And you're an Auburn fan where most people are Bama fans. And I'm like, my girl, my girl, my girl. And I loved her reasoning why. She was like, I just love an underdog, which is always been the case for us Auburn fans. We know that and we understand that and we accept that. Um, but she's like, I just love an underdog story, even though Nick tried to call her weird for being an Auburn fan. Not too much, Nick. Not too much, because it's War Eagle all day, every day over here. Period. And if you're a Bama fan, I'm so sorry because I am not that. I'm not she. I'm not her. I'm a War Eagle girly all day, and that's just it. And I love that Alindri is there with me. So another game, we are kindred spirits. Uh, but they talked about travel, how he was like, how his family would go travel and they would take him all around the world. And he was like, she was like, where'd you been? And she was like, Thailand and Iceland. And she was like, oh, I went to Thailand last year for my birthday. And he was like, what? I didn't know that. So more conversations that they're building and they're liking. And he's like, oh, did you like it? She's like, oh, I loved it. And it was a nice conversation. Then he was like, out of just randomly, like, I gotta go to Alabama. I've never been to Alabama. And she was like, never been to Alabama. I was like, "Mm." Uh, now, we could have just not heard these conversations with the other girl, but we didn't hear those kind of conversations with the girl. I never heard him saying he was going out that way, but he wanna go up to Alabama. They only in Jacksonville. It's only 8 hours away from where she is and where he is. It's just 8 hours. It's just 8 hours. We take a quick flight, do a nice road trip. It'll be fun. Um, but yeah, and not everybody on the internet tripping and making me laugh. Tell us we go see Nick at Tuskegee's homecoming this year. I would love it. I would honestly love it. I think he would have the best time ever because homecomings are everything. But we'll leave that for it being. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see that. And he thanked her for just he was like, because we talk about feelings a lot in here. He's like, I thank you for just making this feel like a conversation that we have outside the village, just home. It just felt like just felt like home. And he was like, she was like, oh, I love that. It's just they bonded on college football, how she loved college football. She would watch football games every Saturday doing college football, just stay at home and watch football games all day. And she loved that. They just had a good time. And I think in that moment he was like, "Hmm, there could be something. It could be." Uh Finally, we get the Shelley and Alendra conversation where they finally get to talk because they haven't, which I'm very shocked. They haven't talked on camera of, what's happening and how she feels. And Alendra asked Shelley if what from the outside looking in, does this look normal? And I think in her mind, she's like, if people going to see me, differently because I chose Nick over, and he just got out of that situation and all kind of stuff. And I felt that. I felt that she was, internally wondering if it looked okay. And she was like, "Oh yeah, it looks yeah, y'all look." She was like, "Good, because it is." Like she in the you see the little moments where Lindsay is breaking down her bars and her walls a little bit, and she's starting to get a little bit more softer and girly and just like I really think she's enjoying this time with Nick, and it's like she said, she is fully giving her 100% because of all the little circumstances that has happened that led them back together all these times, and so she's like, I'm just gonna fully immerse myself into it and see what it can be, and she's like, it looks normal, and Shirley was like, yeah, she's like, good, because it is. I'm attracted to him, absolutely. She was like, and watching him today be in daddy mode only made her more attracted to him. And I was just like, we see this. We see this. Um, and Shelly was like, as Alindra said, for the first time, I felt like I was picking Nick was me doing something selfish for myself. She said, I did it for myself and not worry about anybody else, no connections, no relationships, just strictly for me because this is what I wanted. And I always have a problem doing things selfishly. And I did it for me, and this is the first time. And she said, and I feel good about that. And I'm like, yes, because that is what Love Island is for, my girl. You have to do it for yourself. And if you find a connection and somebody happens to be in that connection and y'all have a bigger connection, it'll work out for you if that is the way it's supposed to be. You have to play this game selfishly. And Shelly gave her stamp of approval, and she was just like, I love that because that meant so much coming from you and I had a stamp of approval. I can continue to move forward, doing what I do. And I love their relationship. I love their friendship. And right as they're talking, on the other side of the villa, we got Nick and Ace talking about the same thing. And Nick is like, Ace is like, I saw y'all chopping it up over there. It was a long time. And Nick was like, yeah, I enjoy the conversations with her. And he's like, I really do. I walked away from that conversation feeling like, yeah, it was just good, and I was like, "It was what, Nick? You walked away from that conversation feeling like it was what? Real?" "Mhm, real." And we did peep the matching, necklaces, charms, because we know Alendra has 2 of those heart charms, and yeah, we peeped. We peeped that. Y'all feeding us crumbs, and we picking up every single one of them. We peeped that on in these streets. So uh, it's just oh, it was so good. But he was like, yeah, he and Ace was just so happy for him. He was like, I'm just happy for you, man, because you and Alandria are like the loyalest people, and y'all are so good. And I just feel like that would be a great, you know, connection that for y'all. And I love that. I was like, love. Like, truly, truly, truly love. Um, it was just a good moment. They were just chopping it up, and we see Alandria and Shelly asked Landry to help her with this date idea that she had planned for Ace, and it was a s'mores date. So they went to the kitchen, grabbed all the things they needed for the s'mores, and took it to the fire pit. She went and got Ace and took him to the fire pit, and they had a good s'mores date. It was so cute, and Ace looked so genuinely happy that she was so thoughtful and thought to do this for him because I don't think he had a lot of dates planned for him and a lot of things, people thought out for him to do for him. And so for Shelly to do that for him, he really, really enjoyed that and loved it and was very grateful for her. And then, of course, we spotted in the background after a while, we saw Nick and Landry over there joining in their little s'mores date too. I saw it later on, but it was nice. It was a really nice time. Um, it was just nice. Then we got a text and they said that the Hideaway was open and that they had to pick a couple to go into the Hideaway. And they chose Amaya and Brian to go into the Hideaway. And Brian was extremely happy because earlier he had suggested that he was starting to lose his will of not doing something in that bedroom that he wanted to do. And now him and Amaya can go to the Hideaway. Everybody voted for them. Everybody was happy. The girls went and helped Amaya get dressed. I loved Amaya Papaya because she was like, I have to borrow people's I have to go through the lingerie because I only brought granny panties. I'm like, baby girl, you going on Love Island. You cannot bring a bunch of granny panties. You can have some granny panties because, some boy shorts, granny panties. You can do a couple of them. You can do a few of them. Those will be your backup stuff. But you got to bring a few, spicy little something, something. So you go on Love Island. You do cute pajamas. And then you do a couple of little spicy numbers just in case you need it for like a lingerie challenge or right away. But they got her together. She put on this cute little pink number. She looked so cute. She looked so cute. Brian put on his boxes and his little Crocs, and he met her at the stairs with a can of whipped cream. I was like, oh, oh, okay. We getting a little spicy. We doing it. All right. But that's what the Hideaway is for. So I don't knock nobody from doing their business in the Hideaway. I would rather everybody did their business in the Hideaway. Some people don't know how to do their business in the Hideaway. They don't wait till the Hideaway opens for them. They just do it when they do it. But they do their business. They go into the Hideaway. So that's what we leave off of them making their way to the Hideaway. The first look has dropped. We have seen the first look. The boys are going away to play some basketball, having bro day. Great. Let them have their moment. A lot of conversations are going to come up. I, I know how first looks work. They give us little nuggets of things, and then it turns out to be something totally different. So I want to see the buts in all of these conversations. Like this happened, but or whatever. We see Taylor getting really close to Clark and thinking that she might be the one. Nick is talking about ups and downs and roller coasters of his journey being here. Alandria's at saying, "Is this like a friends to lovers trope?" Which we've been saying out here this whole entire time. Friends to lovers, second chances, um, forbidden love kind of trope. Yeah, all of those mixed into one was this story. Um, not Brian, Chris is talking to how Huda does not kiss him outside of the challenge, and I'm like, she don't kiss you outside the challenge, but y'all didn't have But she'll hmm, hmm. I am not the world's biggest, PDA type of person, but I don't know, after you've had that kind of intimacy, kissing doesn't seem like the hard draw, like, for me, but she doesn't wanna apparently they don't kiss outside of challenges, but they've had intimacy, so I don't know, but that's and then we get a text saying that, of course, one a couple is going to be dumped from the island tonight, and America votes. So a lot of people are worried, and a lot of people are concerned because they're thinking about back during the burst your bubble challenge, how they ended up being, low for a lot of people. Nobody really knows. So we are going to see what happens tonight and who's going to end up on these who's going home tonight. I have my ideas. I still think it's between Pepe and Iris or Taylor and Clark. Those who I think is probably going to get the lowest. But I would not be surprised if it could be even Ace or Shelly because I feel like people weren't responding well to them either. So I'm not sure. I don't want to see Ace and Shelly go. I would rather see either Taylor and Clark or Pepe and Iris, if we're being honest. Um, at this point, so then Chris can go if they can't get their stuff together. So, you know, we'll see. We shall see. But that is going to do it for me. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you taking the time to join me for this podcast. And if you enjoyed what you heard or want to continue to check out some Love Island um, content, please follow this channel here. We are on a mission to get 1,000 new subscribers at the end of the year. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. We really do appreciate you. You can follow us on our audio podcast links. You can join our Patreon. You can follow us on our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is down there as well. And you can follow me on the socials too if you want. Um, but that's it. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow to talk all things Love Island from this episode tonight. And we'll see you later. So but don't you leave. You just check out another video and I'm gonna go get ready for more podcasts. So I'll check you later. Do, 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 do. Bye. Cheers.